It was brought to my attention in the last 24 hours that there might be a little bit of conflict going on between Wuthering Waves and Neverness to Everness. The community specifically, I want to take a moment here to address not only that, but what I think is actually genuinely going on. For those of you that are looking forward to Neverness though, I will be streaming the global beta in a few days when it goes live and when we as content creators can actually do so. We also have some really juicy sponsored content coming for all of the aforementioned games, except for Azure Permelia. For some reason, they don't want to sponsor any content creators right now. So be on the lookout for all of this. Super excited for NTE, just like I'm excited for Ananta, Arknights Enfield, Azure Permelia, Silver Palace, Rewinding Cadence, and all the incredible looking AAA quality waifu collectors. NTE accused of copying Wuthering Waves. Here's the tweet. Here's another tweet from Ryuku Sensei as well. Here's how the WuWa Twitter community responded. Oh boy. Okay, so here's the thing, chat. Before we click anything, before we delve into this in any capacity, let me tell you right off the bat, as a Wuthering Waves player myself, I have absolutely no issue whatsoever with any game taking inspiration from Wuthering Waves. WuWa took inspiration from other games. It isn't original. Genshin took inspiration from other games as well. So did Arknight, so did Brondos 2, so did Snowbreak. Let's not act like this is news to us. And admittedly, this might not necessarily be the popular opinion here, since these days people would rather be outraged over every little thing as opposed to being open-minded and discussing them. But I think personally, WuWa has now achieved a level of success that other gacha games want to use it as a foundation for their game. I think that is flattering. I think that is awesome. I want more gacha games to use Wuthering Waves as the standard here. WuWa has shown the genre just how much better games and developers can be. I also believe that this is magnified significantly by how poorly other gacha games have shown themselves to be. Infinity Nikki, Black Beacon, Shadowverse, Crystal of Atlan, purely as examples here. As long as the copy is not a one-to-one obvious, I'm fine. Exactly, yeah. So, let's not become the Genshin fanbase that acts all superior, that acts all rabid and tries to cannibalize anything and everything that shows any resemblance to WuWa, because I feel like that's just a tad bit messed up. We're better than that, not only as WuWa players, not only as Arknights players, Nikke players, but as a gacha community. Hoyo players, Genshin players specifically, they lashed out at us, they criticized us, they mocked us just like this. They did this to us as WuWa players. They still do that to us as WuWa players. They do that to us every single patch. They do that to us every single character reveal. We as the WuWa community welcome new players. We welcome new games. There's plenty of room for them. Genuinely. Genshin players seem to think that only Genshin can exist. WuWa players, like myself, like a lot of the community that I fostered, believe that there's more, that there is more than enough players in the community to fill up dozens of different games. Now, don't get me wrong though, and I will preface this entire thing by saying that I do not think plagiarism is good. I genuinely think it's bad. I do not think that we should support it in any capacity. And if this is a direct one-to-one copy, rather than just inspiration for characters or artwork or areas and zones, then sure, I think upset is entirely warranted. Tower Fantasy, I don't know if you guys remember, but they blatantly plagiarized Honkai Impact. They plagiarized full-length trailers from other indie studios. I covered this extensively in numerous different videos. Admittedly, it did upset some Tower Fantasy players because said Tower Fantasy players were blinded by being rabid fans of the game, and in their minds, the studio really could do no wrong. But I also don't think that Neverness, that NTE is Tower Fantasy. I think that they're different games, and that the studio right now is very different to the studio that was present for Tower Fantasy. And I also don't think that these haters are real players. I genuinely think that these haters are paid actors. Not all of them. but a lot of them. Because you remember, as an example here, the mass outrage over Cantarella having that slit of hers fixed. Yeah, there were supposed players all claiming they were quitting Wuthering Waves. There was a mass outrage where everyone was calling for, you know, Kudo's head on a pike. Everyone hated it. The game was dead. And you know what? While they were saying WuWa was a trash game, 2.4 was WuWa's biggest patch yet, with the most players playing since the game's launch, beyond the game's launch, and Cardathea being the most pulled for character in the entire history of the game. She hit #1 through #3 rankings in every region across every major platform. So, with this in mind, do not let them confuse you into thinking that there's beef between communities where there shouldn't be. I think Wuthering Waves is a great game. I think it is one of the best gacha games available right now. I think Neverness here has the potential to be as well. I think it's too early to gauge whether it is or will be, but it definitely has a strong potential to be. I think that we should give the studio time to cook. I believe that competition is definitely good, and the stronger the competition, the more motivation that Kudo has to push out even higher quality updates to stay on top. I believe, and I might be wrong, I'm more than happy to address it if I am wrong. Before going into this and reading any or looking at any of the clips or images being displayed, I believe that this is a fake outrage, but I'm gonna take a look anyway. I don't think so. What I think, and this might just be tinfoil hatting right now, but what I think is just like the mass outrage that happened with Cardathea, with trying to get her censored, with Cantarella and the little slit removal. These are plants. These are other game plants, other communities actively trying to get Neverness and WuWa's communities to combat each other, to turn as many communities against WuWa as possible. That's what I think, because the WuWa community, while yes, they can be, you know, very tribalistic in nature, are still very welcoming of other games. So let's go ahead here and take a look and see. Reaction of viewers during NTE's gameplay live stream. Now, I know of Renacita, and they post a lot of WuWa related content. Some people called it a mod show of Wuthering Waves. I've seen comparison videos on Bilibili and Douyin too recently after the live stream. I think this is like the Inferno Rider comparison, right? Yeah, so I think that they're referencing there the fact that that looks like the Inferno Rider. And then here are character animations between Shangli Yao and the main character. So let's see. He starts off with a kick. He uses a left kick, which shoots essentially a lightning bolt from his leg. How she starts off is she swings like a sword with her right arm. So the intro to the ability is different. Now he then punches uppercuts with his right arm. Her follow-up ability is a left roundhouse kick followed by a right upper kick, whatever that's called. So the entire first half of the combo are different. So after he does the uppercut, he comes crashing down, and she comes crashing down after doing her third kick. So I guess, sure, he jumps directly up, and then he comes crashing down the same way. She does a flip up into the air, and then she comes crashing down after doing a full, 360-degree spin? After which, he shoots an energy beam from his hand while looking to the side. She does the same thing. So, sure, all of this right here, completely different. It only becomes the same during this part where they come crashing down to the ground and then fire the cannon. Does WuWa have trademark over the end of an ability? Is this enough to say complete plagiarism when the first half of the ability is completely different? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that's a bit of a stretch. Honestly, that's a bit of a stretch. Before we go any further, I do want to take a moment here to thank all of my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I genuinely cannot thank you all enough for the support. Now, the Inferno Rider thing, you know, that looked very much like Inferno Rider. But this right here, come on. Half the ability is different. It's literally just she comes crashing down and then shoots. That's the only resemblance. I don't know. That doesn't seem like a whole lot to me. Isn't that common? Yeah. I mean, a jump up, crash down, shoot. I mean, at least we can steal cars. I see two different games True. It's not like global opinion matters. I mean, these are Genshin players. China is still mad. See, that is what I was saying. That was my tinfoil hat theory right there. That was my tinfoil hat theory, that these are actually, these are the Genshin players that were trying to muster up anger and aggression in the community. Ananta do something? No, I don't think Ananta's releasing this year. Definitely not. I'd rather believe those are Chinese Hoyoshils in disguise. I mean, they, you know, it wouldn't be the first time they did it. Who cares? If it looks cool, why not? It was intentional. NTE's future or maybe past of WuWa. So this was a retweet of this. If only you knew how many stuff WuWa copied from Tower of Fantasy. I mean, let's be real here. Tower of Fantasy copied so many things from Genshin. They stole the Honkai Impact Sword. They stole the trailer. Genshin stole from Breath of the Wild. This is commonplace. It does, like, there's a difference between taking inspiration from and making it your own and actually plagiarizing, right? So as an example here, right? This character over on the right, that character over there, as we noted earlier, this is plagiarism. Over on the right, that is plagiarism. That is Mona from Genshin Impact. That is genuine plagiarism, right? Having a, you know, part of an attack be the same, that's not plagiarism. That's just taking inspiration from another ability that exists, right? WuWa has taken inspiration with abilities. I mean, do you remember Phoebe's ultimate animation? So this ultimate animation, right, chat? That's card captors. That's card captors with card captor Sakura, where she would seal the Clow cards. She would crash down with her scepter, her staff. That's card captors. Right? They take inspiration from. It's not an exact replica, but they take inspiration from. This right here, this is taking inspiration from Wuthering Waves and making it their own, because this looks different. Sure, there's a part of it that's the same, but they took something from Wuthering Waves and they altered it and made it original for their game. Inspiration is not plagiarism. Exactly. It is a stretch. Yeah. WuWa looks better. That's perfectly fine. Absolutely fine. It doesn't matter which you think looks better. The point is that they are still different, right? That these look different. That's what I think. I don't think it could be considered a copy. They're similar. I don't think it's a coincidence, but I definitely think they took inspiration from. Here's Riku Sensei's tweet. Character moveset looking really similar to Shang Liao's. Again, it does. Yeah. There's definitely inspiration taken. Then he said, for clarity's sake, I don't really care. I'm still looking forward to NTE. Inspiration is the sincerest form of flattery after all. I just thought it was interesting to point out. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So at the end of the day, like, I was actually tagged, and I think it's here. So I got tagged in Rinasita's tweet as well. So not only was it posted here on the subreddit, which, by the way, chat, y'all should be a member of, if you're not already. We are fast becoming one of the biggest gacha subreddits on Reddit, so go ahead and join if you haven't already. But not only was it posted on our Reddit, but I was tagged in it. So this guy goes, I guess you should talk about this. So then I liked the tweet, so I'd remember to cover it at a later point. Wait, what? How miserable your life must be that you have to resort to this subhuman to feed you like pigs? What the fuck? Okay, so evidently this guy does not like me. And you know, I know there are about 400 of you watching right now, but all 400 of you are apparently pigs. Yes. Here is your local Twitter edgelord chat. I gotta see what the reply is. Better than eating Gateo's slop. Have some balls and use your account that you are so brave using a burner account. Fucking this dude doesn't even speak English. You're the loser here, constantly name calling others in their comments. Get a life. For real, this guy just tags me, right? Akshay follows me and he tags me. He's like, you should talk about this, right? So he's not calling them out. He's not being aggressive. He's not being mean. He's not being dishonest or disingenuous. He's just like, hey, Stix, you should look at this. This guy says he has a miserable life and that he has to resort to a subhuman me. And then this guy replies to him saying, you know, another guy produces slop content. And then this guy acts, again, incredibly aggressively, saying, have some balls. You're a fucking loser. God damn, chat. Subhuman Stix. I mean, let's be honest. Isn't that essentially what this is, right? Subhuman Stix. I should use this as my VTuber avatar. I got it. Wait, chat. Okay. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. I can already tell you what game this guy, this negative IQ loser likes, okay? I can tell you before even clicking his name. His name reflects his attitude, excessive. Tower fantasy player. I might be Genshin, but I don't think so. I think it's a tower fantasy player. Let's take a look. Wait! Wait, chat, he's replied to me before! Chat, he posted images. Chad, is this guy stalking me? You like to pretend that you're good people, but you directly dedicate yourself to inventing any shit to denigrate people's work. We found it, chat! We found it! I knew it! I knew it! I fucking knew it! I called it! Didn't I tell you? I told you I could guess the game he was from. I told you I could guess the game he was from. Not only did I guess the game he was from, but I also found out that he's a bit of a weird fucking stalker. That is weird, chat. But the guy, like, could you imagine, okay, finding the single comment in an ocean of comments, right? Browsing through every single comment here, every single one, to find the single comment that tags me? Can you believe how dedicated as a fan you would have to be to do that? God damn, I appreciate that. Brother, seriously. Like, I'm gonna have to ask you though to just back up a little bit off the tip of my cock, because that is crazy. Like, I can feel you dangling off of it. God damn. Disregarding that though, disregarding the weird, excessive person that this is, I don't think that NTE is necessarily copying WuWa. I think NTE, how I like to see this is, games take inspiration from other games. There are gonna be some things in games that look like other things from other games. Unless it's a one-to-one direct copy, it's not plagiarism. Inspiration is more than fine, because inspiration is flattery. I think it's great that Neverness is using such a fantastic gacha game as the foundation of their game. And I genuinely think more gacha games should look at WuWa here and create a game that is influenced by the things that make WuWa good. The combat, the gacha, the graphics, everything. If you make a game that has combat like Wuthering Waves, then people are gonna love it because the combat in WuWa is good. So by all means, take inspiration from WuWa. All upcoming games should take inspiration from WuWa because it is right now one of the best gacha games out there. Hard to say it's just inspiration when it's Tower Fantasy devs that already copied from other devs. No, that's what I said. Like at the beginning here, I stated plagiarism is bad. I stated that the Tower of Fantasy devs have plagiarized in the past, but when they plagiarized, it was a one-to-one direct copy. The weapon they literally exported from Honkai Impact and they imported it directly into Tower of Fantasy. With the trailer that they copied, they literally made it a one-for-one frame-by-frame comparison. Half of the kit for the character in Neverness is different. So that is not a one-to-one copy. Now, if there are like full-on animations that were copied and I'm just not seeing them because, like, again, this did not show much. This right here, I don't think is like, it's similar, right? You could say, yeah, it definitely looks similar. The second half of the ability definitely looks similar. But if this is, you know, all the evidence we have to go off of, and I don't have any other evidence to go off of here, then that's not plagiarism. That's just inspiration. But if things go further, if direct models are taken and implemented, if entire kits are implemented, more than just half, like what we're seeing here, I will definitely cover it, and my stance will be very evident. But based off of this, I don't think it's sufficient to say that they stole it, that they completely copied it. I am going to be streaming Neverness in a few days from today on global, like the global version of Neverness. We will be able to see exactly what was copied and exactly what wasn't, if there was anything copied, any and all inspiration taken. So this right here, inspiration, not plagiarism. If there is plagiarism, we will find it 110%. I think that this is largely being taken out of context, and I think this is being blown up by a specific community that wants WuWa and Neverness to already butt heads and try to take each other out. When in reality, Wuthering Waves and Neverness can coexist peacefully. There's no reason for either game's community to hate on each other. But that's just what I think. I do think it's too early to judge the entire thing right now, based off of such limited animation, such limited information. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment, so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.